The dewdrops still clung to the wildflowers when Mira stepped out of her grandmother's cabin, the wooden porch creaking under her bare feet. She had been staying with Grandma Rose for 3 weeks now, ever since her parents had to travel overseas for work, and each morning brought new wonders in this remote corner of Colorado. The mountains stretched endlessly in every direction, their peaks painted pink and gold by the rising sun. As she rubbed the sleep from her eyes, something caught her attention at the edge of the meadow. A small pony stood there, no bigger than a large dog, with a coat that seemed to shimmer between silver and white. Its mane flowed like liquid moonlight, and when it turned to look at her, Mira gasped. Its eyes held an intelligence that seemed almost human, ancient and knowing. The pony watched her for a long moment, then turned and began walking toward the canyon that cut through the landscape behind the cabin. After a few steps, it stopped and looked back at her, as if waiting. Mira glanced toward the cabin where her grandmother still slept, then back at the mysterious creature. Something deep in her chest told her this was important, that this moment would never come again. Without stopping to put on shoes or grab a jacket, Mira followed. The pony moved with purpose, picking its way along a narrow trail that Mira had never noticed before despite her daily explorations. The path wound through stands of aspen trees whose leaves whispered secrets in the morning breeze, past clusters of purple lupins and Indian paintbrush. The pony's hooves made no sound on the rocky ground, while Mira's footsteps seemed to echo despite her efforts to move quietly. As they descended into the canyon, the walls rose up around them, striped with layers of red, orange, and cream-colored stone that told the story of millions of years. Mira had studied geology in school, but seeing these formations up close made her feel dizzy with the weight of time. How many creatures had walked this path before her? How many stories were written in stone that she couldn't read? The pony led her deeper and deeper into the canyon, past places where water had carved impossible curves in the rock, past hidden alcoves where ancient peoples might have sheltered. The morning sun couldn't reach them here, and the air grew cool and mysterious. Strange shadows danced on the canyon walls, and Mira began to wonder if she should turn back. But each time doubt crept into her mind, the pony would look back at her with those wise eyes, and she knew she had to continue. After what felt like hours but was probably only 30 minutes, the canyon opened into a circular chamber that took Mira's breath away. The walls curved up and up, creating a natural amphitheater that seemed to reach toward the sky. But it wasn't the architecture that made her jaw drop, it was what filled the space. Dozens of ponies grazed peacefully in the hidden meadow, each one unique and beautiful. Some were the size of her guide, while others were smaller still, no bigger than cats. Their coats displayed every color imaginable. Deep blues that matched the midnight sky, greens that rivaled the forest, purples that would make royalty jealous, and golds that outshone the sun. Some had wings folded against their sides, while others sported horns that caught the light filtering down from above. In the center of the meadow stood the most magnificent creature Mira had ever seen. It was larger than the others, perhaps the size of a regular horse, with a coat that seemed to contain all colors and no colors at once, shifting and changing like the aurora borealis. Its mane and tail flowed as if moved by an invisible wind, and from its forehead grew a spiral horn that looked as if it had been carved from pure starlight. The creature, Mira realized with a start that it must be a unicorn, lifted its head and looked directly at her. When their eyes met, the world seemed to shift. Suddenly, Mira could hear voices, not spoken aloud but somehow transmitted directly into her mind. "Welcome, child of two worlds," the unicorn's voice was like distant thunder and gentle rain combined. "We have been waiting for you." Mira tried to speak but found she couldn't make a sound. The unicorn seemed to understand her confusion and approached slowly, its hoofs making soft sounds on the grass that grew only in this magical place. "You wonder why you can hear us, why little Stardust led you here," the unicorn continued, gesturing with its horn toward the silver pony who had been her guide. "The answer lies in your blood, child. Your grandmother's grandmother was one of us, though she chose to take human form to experience love in your world. That magic sleeps in your veins, awakening only in places of great power." Mira's mind reeled. Her great-great-grandmother had been a unicorn. It seemed impossible, but as she stood surrounded by these magical beings, impossible felt like just another word that had lost its meaning. "The world is changing," another voice joined the conversation, this one belonging to a deep blue pony with silver wings. "The barriers between our realm and yours grow thin. Soon, humans will discover places like this, and when they do, the magic will fade forever unless it has a guardian who can walk in both worlds. We need someone who can speak for us when the time comes," added a golden pony whose horn crackled with tiny lightning bolts. Someone who understands both the wonder of magic and the complexities of human nature. The great unicorn moved closer, and Mira could feel warmth radiating from its presence. We offer you a choice, young one. You can return to your grandmother's cabin and speak of this to no one. The memory will fade like a dream, and you will live a normal human life. Or you can accept the responsibility that your bloodline brings and become the bridge between our peoples. Mira looked around the canyon, at these incredible beings who had trusted her with their greatest secret. She thought of all the fantasy books she had read, all the nights she had stared out her bedroom window hoping to glimpse something magical in the ordinary world. Now that magic stood before her, asking for her help. But she also thought of her parents, who would worry if she came home talking about unicorns. She thought of her friends at school, who would either think she was lying or going crazy. She thought of her grandmother, who had always encouraged her imagination but might be frightened if that imagination suddenly became very real. What would I have to do? She asked, surprised to find her voice working again. Learn, the unicorn replied simply. Grow. Understand both worlds completely so that when the time comes, you can help them understand each other. It will not be easy. There will be times when you feel caught between two homes, belonging fully to neither. Mira closed her eyes and felt the magic thrumming through the canyon, through her own veins. When she opened them, she found her answer waiting in her heart. I'll do it, she said. The great unicorn smiled, somehow, impossibly, its expression conveyed joy and approval. Then let us begin your education. What followed was the most extraordinary morning of Mira's life. The unicorns and their smaller cousins taught her about the hidden places where magic still lived, about the ancient songs that could heal wounded hearts, about the delicate balance between the seen and unseen worlds. They showed her how to recognize others who carried magic in their blood, how to sense the places where the barriers were weakest. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows in the canyon, Stardust appeared at her side. It is time to return, the little pony said gently. Your grandmother will wake soon, and she will worry. Mira felt a pang of loss. Will I see you again? Every morning, if you choose, the great unicorn replied. The path will always be here for you now. But remember, this knowledge comes with great responsibility. You must be wise about when and how you share what you have learned. As Mira followed Stardust back through the canyon, her mind buzzing with everything she had experienced, she understood that her life had changed forever. She was no longer just a girl spending the summer with her grandmother. She was a guardian, a bridge builder, a keeper of secrets that the world would need someday. When she climbed the porch steps and slipped back into the cabin, her grandmother was just starting to make coffee. Grandma Rose looked at her granddaughter's grass-stained feet and the wonder still shining in her eyes. Good walk this morning, dear? She asked casually, as if finding children returning from magical adventures was perfectly normal. Mira paused, studying her grandmother's face more carefully. There was something in those familiar eyes, a depth that reminded her of another pair of eyes she had just been looking into. Grandma, she said slowly, what was your grandmother's name? Rose smiled and poured 2 cups of coffee, adding extra milk to one. Her name was Luna, sweetheart. She was special. I think you would have liked her very much. As she handed Mira the cup, her grandmother winked, and for just a moment, Mira could have sworn she saw the faintest shimmer of silver in the old woman's hair.